Gary Neville joins us. Gary, what do you make of the way that United have gone about this?
I don't like it. I said it last night on Monday Night Football that I think that the modern ways that leaks happen, but it's something that I still count myself as being a football person, being in that club for 20 odd years. I think it's something that United will have to review internally because, like I say, the last 15, 16 hours or however long it's been, I don't like it. It's not the way in which the club should portray itself, but it's the modern world. It's how things seem to be dealt with now, but I'm a traditionalist and I think that, like I say, it could have been dealt with a whole lot better.
Did he have to go, though?
Again, if you're asking me as a professional, I believe in managers being given time. I think they should be allowed to complete the work. The idea of giving people 3 and 4 and 6 year contracts and then getting rid of them after 10 months is something that's foreign to me. However, there's no disguising that the football this season has been poor. The results have been poor. As a fan, I've not enjoyed watching it. I'm sure David Moyes himself hasn't enjoyed watching it, and I can't think of many United fans that will have enjoyed watching it either. It's the performances have sort of got worse and worse. There was a little bit of a pick-me-up before Christmas where you thought there might be a little bit of a run, but then in the last month or two, the sort of performances deteriorated really. The Olympiacos, Liverpool, and then the Everton ones were particularly low points. And I suppose it's a different world than it was in the 1980s when I suppose Sexton, Atkinson and Sir Alex Ferguson were given time through their difficult moments. That's just not going to happen anymore. And it's something that I don't like about the modern game, the fact that managers get sacked every 12 months. It doesn't matter whether it's my club, which is United, or any other club. And I'll continue to defend that position because my full belief is that in any walk of life, if you transfer this into an electrician or into a lawyer or into anything else, I genuinely believe that there's a lack of decency now in the way in which football managers get dealt with. They're almost become... there's so much in the firing line. He accepts it's a pressurised job and then they get well paid for it. That's something. But I think there's a way of decency of dealing with people. And football managers now just get tossed around, chucked about, disregarded, rubbished. Decent men, good men just seem to, like you say, just, basically just get thrown away and chucked in the bin. And that's not just talking about David Moyes, that's all the way through football, the way in which managers get treated. They're always a scapegoat and never anybody else.
How much are the players responsible?
Well, the players have to take massive responsibility. They're the ones out on the football pitch. I never once during my 17, 18-year career at United turned around after the game and thought, you lost us that game, boss, or you lost us that game playing for England. It's always the players. We took responsibility. Players have to take responsibility and accountability in football. But the fact of the matter is, you don't go and sack 24 players, and those players there are not as bad either as they've been showing. I've played with a lot of those players. They've got great care for United. They love the club. The ones that I know, they're desperate to do well for the club, and they just completely lost confidence and belief. And that's ultimately, I think, what's cost David Moyes, because these are players who were champions 9 months ago, and the decline has been. Well, the decline has been surprising, to say the least. To go from first to probably third, maybe fourth, would maybe have been acceptable in a transition season, but to go to 7, and I have to say, on Sunday afternoon, watching them at Goodison Park and against Liverpool 3 weeks ago, they're just absolutely flat. There was nothing in them, and to me, that's the last thing that can happen as a United player. So they have to take responsibility, but ultimately the manager always takes responsibility because he's the one that is seen to have to drag a performance out of the players, and managers are aware of that. They know the game that they're getting into. I just have this big problem generally with managers getting their average time getting less and less. We used to ridicule Italy and other countries for sacking managers every 10 minutes, and now we've actually turned into that. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm not sure. Italian football for me is struggling, and I just hope that in English football in 15 years we're not struggling as well.
For more great videos, subscribe to Sky Sports YouTube by clicking here. There.
In that top right-hand corner.
Just there. Is it
Just
there?
I think so.